The acquiescence that the U.S. has arose from has presented itself in various forms throughout history. One I want to talk about today is the use of excessive police force. Tragically, this excessive police force has resulted in wrongful death and even police-involved shootings. I'm here today to persuade more action towards more training of officers. In addition to that, the requirement of at minimum an associate's degree to further prevent this dilemma from happening. Let's take, for instance, the case of Messerly versus California, 2009. Johannes Messerly at the time was an officer for the Bay Area Rapid Transit System, also known as BART. As him and his fellow officers responded to a reported fight at the Fruitvale, Oakland station shortly after 2 a.m. on January 1st, 2009, as they apprehended an individual by the name of Oscar Grant and handcuffed him for police obstruction, Penal Code 192 Subdivision B. As he was lying down, Messerly claims he accidentally shot him in the back. As he said, he was reaching for his taser. What could have caused this accidental tragedy How could we have prevented it? Well, the U.S. Commission, in their journal article published in 2018, Police Use of Force, an Examination of Modern Policing, stated that a growing pattern in police killings, particularly in people of color, is due in part by the improper training of officers. Furthermore, during this U.S. Commission briefing, University of Missouri professor David Klinger also stated that most states do not implement sufficient amount of hours in scenario-based training. Similarly to this cause comes my secondary cause. As I'm doing my research, I stumbled upon a journal article written by Plant and Perush in 2005, The Consequences of Race for Police Officers' Responses to Training, in which they implicate that the implicit biases that some people may experience factor in these excessive use of police force, as they shed light in a simulation called the Shoot Don't Shoot simulation, where they found officers in training shoot more unarmed black men as to the unarmed white men. To this end, an effective solution for this dilemma mentioned might undoubtedly be relieved by more training in the upcoming officers. As also stated by Plant and Perush in a repeat of the Shoot Don't Shoot simulation, they found that with disregard to race and only the mere presence of a gun, the officers in training during the simulation disappeared this implicit bias that they had previously observed in the first simulation. Which has also given me thought that, in addition to a qualification of at least an associate's degree required for would-be officers, would also help prevent this implicit bias that most of us do experience at times. Given the fact that to acquire an associate's degree, you must take various classes in a college setting that is ultimately diverse, multicultural, and age differentiated. The expansion of more officer training and an additional requirement of minimum associate's degree for upcoming officers, I believe, would improve this dilemma of police excessive force. As we can all see the tragedies that may occur from these, including police-involved shootings, particularly in people of color. We have learned that the causes of these circumstances are 1. The lack of training, 2. Implicit biases. As I proceed to conclude that with more training awareness, and education, this might be the key to reducing and relieving the use of excessive police force.